If you work in sales, if you run a sales team, if you have a product, a service, if you sell anything, you want to know how to sell more stuff because that's how you drive your revenue. And there's really 3 different levers that we can pull from an ownership perspective that can help either ourselves, our sales team, sell more stuff and generate more revenue. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through those 3 levers that we have at our disposal to drive that revenue and increase sales. So the very first lever that we have is leads. Now you might be saying, okay, well, Seth, like that's pretty obvious. Obviously I need leads, but what I'm talking about with leads is lead flow. So if we're looking to increase revenue and sell more stuff, give our sales team more ammunition so they can go out and sell, we need to have more opportunities for those salespeople to have conversations with, to qualify, and then to convert. It's a numbers game. We know that, when we're looking at leads, we know that we've got the hottest leads, we've got, the qualified leads that we'll probably buy. And then you've got the looky-loos, as JB calls them. And then you've got mistakes that come into the funnel. They're not supposed to be there. You just instantly DQ them. These are the types of leads that you have. Now, we take this, but we also have to understand how many sales leads are actually sales ready on day one. So if I draw the iceberg here, 73%, now I'm pretty sure this is from Harvard Business Review, where I got the stat from. So 73% of leads are not sales ready on day one. They're not. So right off the bat, out of all of the leads you're generating, only about 25%, 1 in 4, have a chance of being sales ready. So I think one of the biggest mistakes I made when I started, going back to when I used to sell painting services, I would go door knock, door to door. I was just myself. I would door knock and generate the lead. What I should have done is I should have had more of an abundance of leads and had 4 other people door knocking at the same time as me, because now you're drowning and you're not worried about where the next deal is going to come from. And just from an ownership, a mindset perspective, knowing that you have a solid pipeline of leads coming down, that's just going to give you so much more confidence to, just stand your ground, not give additional special terms to somebody, not get, you're just more solid and you're feeling better when you wake up in the morning. So how do you get leads? Well, there's a number of different ways you can generate leads. And we've tried and we've worked, we've had success, we've had failures in all of these different types. Okay. So number 1, you have inbound, and then you have outbound. Let me explain what this looks like. With inbound leads, these are inbound inquiries. So this is somebody coming into you, into your company saying, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. So you could have inbound phone calls, so organic phone calls. So somebody is looking for, let's say, a plumber. They look you up, they find your website organically, and they give you a call. Great. That's an inbound lead for the reps. And you know what? Those are the best leads to get because somebody's actually picking up the call. They're interested, high intent. You could also have email or web forms on your website. Organic people just find you. Again, those are the highest intent. I'll call them high intent leads because they found you. They are actively seeking out you and your business for a solution. Then we get into paid. So we've got organic on one side, and we can also call, media, organic media. So if you run, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you're posting good quality content, somebody consumes it and then they want to get in touch. That's inbound. Right? And these are the highest intent audiences or types of leads that you will ever generate for your business because they're actively seeking you out. And then they're taking the first step to have the initiate contact, whether it's on your website with a form, a chat with us, a phone call, you name it, high intent. Now, with inbound organic, we don't have control over how much comes in, and it's slow over time. So this is where paid comes in. So we've got organic right here. Now we have paid. So with paid, we get more volume, but then we also lose on quality because we're paying to get our message, our hook, our ad out into the masses. We're paying for this. And now with any type of funnel, especially on the internet, we're going to get a bunch of people, even though we try and repel them, they still come into the funnel. Fair enough. If somebody's looking for a plumber and they're calling you, chances are they've got something, like they're a qualified customer. But if you're running an ad for another type of service, maybe it's like, hey, we can help scale your marketing ad spend. We're in a marketing thing. You're going to get a bunch of people with no money. You're going to have a percentage who are very qualified, and that's who you're going after, right? That's just the nature of the game. So you're playing the volume game at this point. So organic, super high quality, super high intent, but we have no control over the volume that comes in. So lower volume. But then on the paid side, we have a lot of control over the volume because we just pay more in exchange for that volume, but that quality is decreased because it's not super high intent. And this is where your sales systems have to come into play to number one, to qualify at the top. So all of your leads are going to come in here. You got to qualify to scrub them, and only the most qualified people keep moving down the funnel to eventually end up with a sale. That's the system you have to implement there. So that's inbound lead generation. Now for outbound lead generation, this is something, with my conference, we have a lot of experience with. You take the fight to the marketplace. So this is where you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call people. So if you're doing B2B sales, you're going to pick up the phone and call your clients. So if you're running a social media marketing agency, you're going to pick up the phone, and maybe it's for real estate agents. You're going to pick up the phone and dial every single real estate agent in your city, right? And you're going to do a cold call, qualify, and then set appointments where you can actually do discovery and have that sales call. That's outbound. We also do outbound email. And this is something that we've experienced with, but we're just starting that at a high scale in terms of high volume outbound. Again, you're sending out thousands of emails a day. You can definitely scale that up depending on the type of business you're in. There's some that fit better, some that fit worse. Then you have outbound LinkedIn, and then you also have DMs. So it's like IG, Facebook, just you going out, you actively messaging. Now, when we're looking at generating abundance of leads, which is what we need, we want to be drowning in leads. You have to use both inbound organic, inbound paid, and also outbound. And because outbound has lower cost. Because what's the price of sending an email? Well, you've got your subscription for your high volume email service. You're going to pay for a list. You're going to pay for some directories to create that. But realistically, your cost for each lead generated through email is going to be a lot less. The call, while you have a dialing plan, you can pick up the phone and call. That's all it takes. Very low cost. LinkedIn messages. Yes, you're throttled with how many messages you can send, but still, it's not high cost. And same with DMs, low cost. If you don't have huge budget, but you want to get that abundance, you just have to make more calls, send more emails, send more messages, send more DMs, and you can generate that abundance there. Now, eventually what you'll want to do, this is high effort on the outbound side. You'll want to take that outbound and also do volume here in terms of paid. And both of those, once you start getting your ball rolling, then you'll start getting that inbound flow. Now, which one to focus on? Honestly, I would make sure you're working on all three to make sure you have all those different, because sometimes we just went through this. Your paid ads, your account's going to get disabled. Okay. So number one, we have to work from a position of strength, of abundance, of not in scarcity. Because if we're thinking about scarcity, worrying about, oh, well, where's the next lead going to come from? That's not the headspace we want to be in. We want to make sure we're in a position where, hey, yes, I can generate a ton of leads, and I'm never worried about my next opportunity using those different sources of leads. And remembering, only a quarter of your prospects are going to be sales ready. That's who you have a shot at selling on day one. Now, the second way to sell more stuff, whether it's you selling or a salesperson on your sales team selling, is conversion rate. So this is what percentage of prospects that are qualified are actually getting closed. So if you look at standard, if you're selling, let's say, a consulting service and you're running paid ads, if you're running a book a call funnel, you should be closing 20% of those. So 1 in 5. 1 in 5 qualified prospects should be closed in this type of scenario. But if we're using a sales team, a book a call type of funnel, or a lead form capture, something like that, you want to bank on closing 20%. Why? And this is for qualified calls. Why is that? Well, you're dealing with people who have never interacted with your business before. They don't know you. It's very different from that organic standpoint where somebody's watched, 10 hours of your videos. Well, if that's the case, they're basically almost already sold. So by the time they get on the call with either you or your salesperson, they're 90% down the track in terms of giving you their credit card and paying for your service. With a cold lead, with paid media traffic, They're starting at the starting block of the 100-meter dash. You got to do a lot of warming up, build a lot of trust. So it's harder. And there's just some people who aren't able to act right away. Now, how do we sell more stuff? How do we help your sales team sell more stuff? Well, the easiest way here is just increase your conversion rate. If we are able to increase the conversion rate from 20% to 25%, now we're closing 1 in 4. Now, what does it take to do that? A couple things. Number one, we have to improve the skill set, skills, and training of the sales team. We have to make sure that they're running the calls the right way. They know how to handle objections. They know how to frame the conversation, frame the product. They know how to personalize the solution to the prospect. They have to learn how to listen better, ask better questions, have more confidence on the call. All of this falls under skills and training. 100%, this is probably the easiest way to increase your conversion rate. The second thing we have to increase or improve to increase this is your lead flow. With lead flow, we have to work on messaging in terms of the ads and the creative and everything we're putting out into the marketplace. If our messaging isn't generating the most qualified prospects, well, we have to fix that, right? We also have to fix sequences. What are we sending out ahead of time? What's the first email the prospect gets? Are we retargeting them before the first call? All of this stuff helps or has an impact on our closing rate and the success rate of our sales team. And also we have to work on the actual offer itself. So what are the guarantees we offer? What is the service we're providing? Is it a good fit to the market? Is it not a perfect fit? Do we have to add things, subtract things? All of this plays in to the closing and success rate of your sales team. So when we're looking at trying to improve sales conversion numbers, we're not just looking at that individual rep. It's all of the different pieces that came before it and all stacked up to make sure that rep has the best chance they have to sell more stuff when they're on the call with the prospect. So it's, hey, well, what was the initial headline the person saw when they clicked on the ad? What was the promise in the video sales letter or on the copy on the page? What was the process of booking a call? What happened after they booked a call? What stuff did we send them? Were their expectations set? Does this person have some type of idea what's going on? What happened on the scrubbing call, the qualifying call with the setter, SDR, somebody to talk with the prospect before they get set on the closer on the account executive calendar? All of this stuff falls into this category of conversion because it has a massive impact on how many deals you'll actually close. But just imagine the difference on your sales team and on your revenue if you could go from closing 1 in 5 prospects to closing 1 in 4. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do the math at scale, massive, massive impact. The next thing to do, and the last thing I would say that you want to do, is just charge more money. Right? If you have an abundance of leads, if you have a ton of people who are prospective good customers, and you have a solid system for converting those people, you're not selling from a place of fear anymore. And I know what that feels like, where I got nothing left in the tank. I got to sell right now. You're selling scared, and people can always tell when you're selling scared. But if you've got abundance, and you've got the systems in place, the next lever you can pull is just charge more for what you're doing. But in order to do that, the first 2 levers have to line up. You have to have abundance because that's going to give you and your sales reps confidence to pitch the new price and be very serious about it. Plus, you have to have the skill sets, you have to have the conversion systems in place to be able to effectively pitch and sell your prospect, convey your value, frame it in the right way so that prospect's going to say, okay, yeah, this makes total sense. But once you've done that, just charge more. You have to start with abundance. You have to have a ton of leads. Then you have to figure out how to convert it, increase that conversion rate. Go from 20% to 25%. That's going to do so much. And when you do the math in terms of your cost per lead, cost per book call, cost per customer acquired, that jump from 1 in 5 to 1 in 4, huge impact in terms of the efficacy and the efficiency of your lead generation campaign. So those are the 3 levers to pull to help your sales team sell more, but also help your business sell more. And it's going to give you way more confidence. It's going to give your sales reps way more confidence. Then you hit the ground running and just crush it. I hope this was helpful. I've learned this the hard way, the ups and downs and the sideways. But yeah, focus on abundance first, then focus on systems, then focus on conversions. I'll see you guys next week on the Bullpen, Tuesday, 12 o'clock Eastern. I'll see you then.